Hi, I am Vishnu. I designed and developed enterprise AI solutions by combining artificial intelligence, cloud based technologies, and big data platforms. I specialized in the Azure based architectures and DevOps automation. Now, I have built an HR AI process and automation search engine. Like it will, every organization having the HR process and HR execution process. Like this AI search engine for the HR, like it will helpful for them to extract the best resumes which are seeking for the organizational requirement, and it make easy to get the appropriate related resumes with no time. So what I am trying to say is, when the organization is looking for the required technological ability, job fulfillment, the HR process is most important role. So the HR needs to be get the best resumes within a no time, and appropriate information is required, and appropriate resumes needs to pick based on the organizational requirement. For that, I have built intelligence AI endpoints by using the fast API and Azure. In the case of Azure, I have used Azure AI. I have created Azure AI Search, Azure OpenAI, and storage account for the list of resumes. And along with that, DevOps process. I have automated the creating the Azure computes, Azure resources for the uh, to build AI HR automation process. So this is the sample AI process. Let go through the infrastructure like Azure AI source. First, we will go through the Azure environment. It's a cloud based, so there is no headache on the maintaining the servers. So I created the resource group, and Azure has provided sophisticated functionality environment where it will take care about the all the responsibility of the RAG process, and it has a Azure AI has a cubed with a lot of skill sets where it provides the almost all technological solutions related to the AI, so that you will get the best output, and it will cover the RAG process, 90% of the RAG process by Azure AI search. So here I have created the Azure search service, Azure OpenAI, and storage account. Storage account for the to store the resumes. Let's go through the storage account details, and here I created the resumes, and these are a list of resumes where our Azure AI search seeking into this by indexer. You need to create a index, that index having the indexer, and document cracker behind the scenes will crack the details, and we will apply skill set, associate skill set based on the our requirement. We have a lot of skill sets. Cognitive skill set, Azure OpenAI skill set, and custom skill set. So anyway, we have all these skill sets, a lot of functionality we can achieve. And even if you want, you can incorporate external customized LLMs, and you can incorporate or inject our own machine learning models or large language models, like convolution neural networks for the image process, like UNet. We can consume those and build a sophisticated rack system based on our requirement. Now I'm going back to the resource group, and this resource group having the Azure search service. Before that, we'll have to use Azure OpenAI. It's not only for the LLM. Now in our context, we need a vector and embeddings. For that, we'll have to create a model which is already provided. Let's go through the Azure OpenAI, and here in the Azure OpenAI we have a Foundry portal for this. In this Foundry portal is very useful to organize and execute and build sophisticated solutions with very less time, and Azure provides a great UI so that we can achieve our functionality within a very less time compared to other technologies. So here I have chosen the model is the text embedding 3 small model. We can choose based on our requirement. Now I'm going back to the search service. In the case of search service is the most important and key platform, Azure compute, Azure service, where it acts as a it plays a great responsibility in the case of a rack system. So it provides the intelligent response, intelligent search results by on based on the organizational context. It not deviate the data, so that we'll have a multiple advantages. Before going to the multiple advantages, like how I designed search service, will see. In the case of search service, the major components or major major computes or components or skill sets and indexes. Major is index. So index creation is most important thing, where it plays a vital role in the case of Azure search service. So this is the Azure search service I have created. Let's I will go and abstract and will come quickly show how we can achieve. So there is a import data. By import data, we can search, we can pick any one of that, like Azure Data Lake and Cosmos DB, SQL servers, table storage, Microsoft One Lake. I have chosen the Azure Blob Storage. What I'm trying to say here is Azure search service provides many options related to the data source. Even if your data source is a structured data, we can choose SQL database, but most of the search service and nowadays will have a unstructured data like images and videos, and and PDFs, scan PDFs. So we'll go with the blob storage and Azure data lake storage. Anyway, the Microsoft has covered many things. We can utilize those in our business implementation. Period. I have chosen the Azure blob storage, and this is the rack. We have multiple options here. One is a multimodal rack, keyword search, and rack. Now I have chosen rack. Period. And we can opt subscription and vectorization enrichment text and vectorization for your images and advanced settings and review. So in this case, like vectorization text you'll use for your embeddings, and vectorization enrich of your image means like you need to convert the embeddings of your images and PDF scan PDF images. So mostly those are a lot of uses, and now I'm going back to the Azure Search service. So I will show you the most important key area is skill set, where it plays a actual business implementation and actual data process, and where we can inject our data, and this is a great pipeline for the index. So as I mentioned, from the indexer, where it looks the data source, it provide the connection of the uh, connection related to the storage, and it will hand over to the skill sets. We have a multiple skill sets. By using these skill sets, like we can extract the image details, for example in the case of a resume, and you can extract the information from the PDF document related to the user, I mean candidate name and email ID and his information. Like since we can extract the phrases, and also we can sentiment, by using sentiment analysis. If you want to do any feedback analysis, we will apply sentimental skill set. And if you want to extract any images, like we can use OCR 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 skill set and OCR image analysis. Like these image related, computer vision related functionalities we can use. And anyway, behind the scenes, it will use the algorithms and LLMs which are built by Microsoft, so that abs- you will get an absolute context, business context related information, so that it will saves your time, and also not only say time, it saves our money in the case of while consuming or getting the data from the large language models. And we can extract associated information in the form of particular values like name and phone number, email address. Like that we can use entity recognition skill sets. Or if you want to consume LLMs, we have a ALL AML related skill set. And if you want to inject your business data, I mean any instructions on the fly based on the parental level of skill set, you can use skill set custom skill set means you can call REST API like Azure functions and app service related to REST API, ASP.NET Core REST API. So based on that, you can do more things. That means you can customize while preparing the index. So that's a way we have big advantages. Now I'm going back to the fast API, and before going to the fast API, I have built all this by using the DevOps process. I have built the Azure DevOps. Uh, for this, I have built the Terraform scripts. I created the build pipeline and release pipeline for this, and I'm mainly focusing on the Terraform scripts where it plays a vital role. So in this case of Terraform scripts, I used mostly in the modular functionality, like which I segregated most of the computes and resources creation, and whichever the required data and populated dynamically. For example, I have created storage account by DevOps along with the data, so that it will helpful in the case of a quick uh, quick test along with the information. This automation process reduce our time, and as we have a predefined business context related to the our organization, so that we can quickly test and we can quickly implement whichever the data is a predefined, or if you want any new sources, we can move with the new PDFs or new resumes or new implementation, and move into the another solution, another environment. Like that we can quickly uh, move by helping the DevOps automation. So so this I have created such a way. It's as a built a modular, so that you can quickly change the environment, and whichever the features, I mean storage, how many storage accounts you can want to create, how many number of resource group, a number of services, a number of business group of business functionality related resource I can we would create and accommodate along with the data. So like we have a multiple resources and created multiple modules. You can see here, these are all related to the all are optimized way of implementation, so that we can reuse these resources, and just we need to mention our business related computes in the associated variables, so that once you place whichever the requirement information, and automatically it will create. And if you don't want enable that, you can enable that. Like that I have implemented optimized way of DevOps process. Now related to the fast API, I have built the fast API to I have built the fast API, as I mentioned. Like this is a HR module. In this HR module, this is a search endpoint. So in this search endpoint, I have implemented the functionality where it consumes the Azure AI search and will get the associated results. So for that, I have created like repositories and services and associated modules and providers. These are all like different layers which I will handle, and also we will have a lang chain and land graph related layers in the case of orchestration layer. So this is kind of a enterprise end to end one of the solution, but it's a kind of one a small uh, implementation process, and we'll see the output. This is Swagger, like cyber security. I have entered, and now I have click, then we'll see, and it will pass through the different layers, and we'll get. Let execute this. So we're getting the top 10 records, and now it is reaches to service layer, and we'll get an output. We'll see. We are looking for the cyber security, and now we have a cyber security related resume. We got this, and we have a chunks, and we have and this is the id, and like this, the parent id is related to the path of the pdf which I mentioned in the storage account. Like that, we will get a multiple information which is related to the our business context. So, and also we can as I mentioned, we can once we based on the business, we can implement multiple skill sets, so that we'll get a more relevant information. So due to that, once we get the more relevant information, then it will useful for the time saving. And once we have a once we able to reduce the tokens, I mean information, so that once we send the request to the llm, so once that got reduced, it automatically reduce the cost. Once we reduce the cost, so it will impact to the overall mm, budget. So we'll with the low cost, we will provide a best results, and that too artificial intelligence way of business functionality we would get. So this robustic hr related to the endpoint will help to gear up their process, and we can will get the most relevant context results. Along with that, feedback and feedback analysis, all those we can implement by using the sentiment analysis skill set. So all those we can extract the ocr details. This is only hr process, but in the medical, in the case of insurance and medical research, and any kind of um, medical research institutes, or any other research institute in pharma companies, if they want, I can build entire end-to-end AI solutions. So this is one sample, uh, so where I can build rapidly and deploying by using the terraform scripts, and fast api. Why is choosing the fast api? I'm specialized in the ASP.NET Core REST api also, but in the case of fast api, still with the python, and most of the AI related functionality or packages are available in the python. So that would be building the llms and machine learning functionality we can implement. So langchain, langgraph, so we can automate customized implementation, custom agents I can build, so that robustic AI solutions I can provide. So this is one of the minimal sample where I built within a very less time. I will come with the more solutions. Now sign off.